Build a man a fire, and you'll keep him warm for the night. Build a man of fire, and you'll keep everyone warm. Forever! Welcome back, Desert Bluffs! Before we begin today's broadcast, I have some fantastic news to share with you all. As I have mentioned before, I am now living inside of the radio station since my apartment block was composted. A few nights ago, while I was wandering about late at night, I heard a strange, high-pitched rumbling noise. Then, the lights began to flicker. And then, suddenly, a great river of orange and green flames erupted from the manager's office. It raced down the hallway towards me, and I felt a searing heat within my bones as I dove for cover behind a pile of disused floppy disks. The warmth radiated outwards from within me, a bubbling, burning that I haven't felt for such a long, long time. And when I stood up, I looked down the hallway and saw the entire management suite was engulfed in roiling flames. Yes, that's right! Station management has returned! I am so happy that management has returned to our radio station. I just cannot stop smiling. I would have told everyone sooner, except that I was summoned to the office for an update. Apparently, after a blast of searing pain and blinding light that left me catatonic for 26 minutes as it rifled through my brain like flipping cards in a Rolodex, it decided I was worthy to speak at. It demanded to know why none of the priests were performing the requisite sacrifices, so I told it about the severe negative population growth that Desert Bluffs is currently experiencing. And it judged me worthy of being interim radio host until Kevin gets back. And also, it put me in charge of human resources, and accounts payable and receivable, and sales and janitorial, and a few other mid-level management positions that I couldn't quite understand. However, I couldn't just take the positions. I, as head of human resources, had to interview myself for the positions that I was going to occupy. And it is against protocol to only interview one applicant for any of these positions, so I also conducted interviews with a mostly dead fern that I found in the front lobby, and the motivational poster that Paul's mom gave us for her sponsorship. Between all of these interviews and the paperwork that I had to fill out before I flung it into the flames that swarmed around the management suite like a swarm of angry bees, I've had to spend around 67 hours working non-stop to get everything caught up and properly filed. But it was worth it to have management back. In fact, management wishes to take some time during the broadcast to share a very important message with all of you. Just like old times again, doesn't it? Now, if only we could find a way to get Kevin back sooner. I mean, get him back sooner because he was always going to come back. It isn't like I ever thought he would stay away. Never, never. I need to go wash my hands. Please listen to this pre-recorded newscast while I step out of the studio for a moment. In a prepared statement released earlier this morning, the Desert Bluffs interim government announced that Christopher Hatch, who was previously a moderately high-ranking member of the interim government's ecclesiarchal branch, has been promoted to press secretary. His duties as press secretary appear to be focused around using heavy weights to compress various objects until they are flat. Whether or not these objects extend to living beings such as wild coyotes and dangerous criminals was not expressly stated. but I think we all know what was implied. With Christopher Hatch leaving the ecclesiarchal branch, there is bound to be a shuffling of personnel within the interim government. It is expected that within the next 4 to 6 weeks, we will start to see some vacancies within the interim government begin to pop up. If you're looking for a new job, keep an eye on the Desert Bluffs daily paper for job postings. Okay, I'm back. Just in time to tell you about the community event happening later today. I'm sure you've all seen the signs around town advertising an ice cream social today. This ice cream social is being held by the Office of Festivities as a way to get to know everyone a little better. And by get to know, I mean gather the latest biometric data on all registered residents. Census takers will be recording your fingerprints, footprints, retinal scan, DNA sample, blood type, height, weight, median body hair length, and radiation signatures. Attendance at the ice cream social is, of course, mandatory. Not that you'd want to miss it anyway. The Office of Festivities has promised to provide an ample supply of ice cream in classic flavors such as vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, and Rocky Road. Paul and I have been exempt from the ice cream social, as the nature of our jobs requires that we stay here broadcasting to all of you. So head on down to City Hall and eat an extra scoop for the both of us. And now for some community announcements. The Scavengers Guild would like to thank all of the citizens who participated in their recent recruitment drive. They say it was a total success, and with any luck they will not hold such an event for at least another month or so. Those of you who were recruited, and who survived the process, can pick up your initiation packet at Sal's Pet Store downtown. It is recommended that you bring tongs, or at least a pair of sturdy gloves, when you go to pick up your initiation packet. It seems that the filing cabinet in which the packets are stored has been infested with angry hamsters. Earlier this week, a community think tank was formed to address the growing problem of our absentee sun. As you are all aware, the sun over Desert Bluffs now sets for about half the day. This is, of course, completely unacceptable. Most of our town runs on solar panels, and without adequate sunlight, it is becoming increasingly difficult to continue our daily schedules here in Desert Bluffs. So far, the think tank has come up with several ideas to keep the sun from setting. They've considered writing a message with rocks in the desert, politely asking the sun to please stay put. They are also working on plans for a community event where we all gather together to recite a message to the sun, loudly asking it to stop setting. They have also floated the idea of building some sort of structure so that one or more people can get closer to the sun and ask it to stay up in a more personal manner. The think tank meets on Thursday nights at the old concrete factory, and anyone who is interested in participating is more than welcome to attend. The Desert Bluffs interim government would like to remind all residents to please stop disposing of live animals in the pit in the center of town. You know, the pit? The one that emits a gray steam that smells of sulfur in the early mornings? Yeah, that's the one! As you all know, the live animal disposal system is in place for your benefit. So please, don't dispose of your live animals in the pit. It's beginning to suffer from indigestion. Deceased animals and animal byproducts are still A-OK though. This has been Community Announcements. Paul is signaling to me from the sound booth that we have received a telegram. Let me just pop over there and see what it says. Just a second. Okay, it looks like this telegram is another announcement regarding the ice cream social, taking place right now. The interim government would like to make it abundantly clear to all residents that yes, the ice cream social is mandatory, and of course there is actual ice cream there. They wouldn't lie about something like that, would they? Of course, I do need to make a minor correction. They do not have Rocky Road ice cream, they have Gravel Road ice cream. But really, it's 6 one way and a half dozen the other. It is vitally important that all registered Desert Bluff citizens attend, as the ice cream social is being used as a sort of impromptu census-taking opportunity. I know some of you out there might be thinking, but Terry, the interim government gets blood and tissue samples from me every month. And yes, I know. But this telegram reiterates that they are recording a different sort of data, and that if you don't attend, it is incredibly likely that you will be reduced to your elemental components by the swarm of nanites that is going to be released later today. The interim government has decided that, in order to combat the growing problem of dangerous criminals lurking in our midst, all registered citizens will be added to a biometric registry, and anyone not on the registry will be subjected to disassembly by nanites. A census worker did stop by earlier today to collect data from both Paul and myself, so we're both already registered. But all of you out there listening ought to head down to City Hall, get some ice cream, and get your data recorded. I have been told that the disassembly process is not that bad, for the nanites that is. You, on the other hand, will briefly dream of experiencing the most horrific pain you could possibly imagine, because that imagined pain will be nothing in comparison to the incredibly uncomfortable process of disassembly. Seriously, it will seem like a 6-week vacation in comparison, because that's how long it will take for your consciousness to fade. We wouldn't want any of our valued citizens to have to go through such a stressful ordeal. So while all of you out there head on over to the Ice Cream Social, a word from our sponsor. Do you ever wake up before your alarm clock goes off? And when you look around your room, it seems strange? Unfamiliar? A thick, sweet smoke of ceremonial incense still seems to linger in your lungs and nostrils, and you could have sworn you were standing before a great fire not moments ago. As you sit up, the coppery taste of blood in your mouth and the rustling of phantom feathers far away combine to result in confusion, disorientation. Everything seems gray and colorless. The air seems dusty and dry. Well, nobody else feels that way. That's because they enjoy eating at Brugger's Bagels. Stop being such a weirdo and learn to conform. Brugger's Bagels, where normal people eat. So now, why don't we take a look at the community calendar? Oh, wait, before we do that, Paul is flagging me down. We seem to have another telegram. This one is written in all caps. Let me just see here. Oh, goodness. Alright, a few things of note. First, the nanite swarm has been released. It is expected that the swarm will radiate outwards from the center of town and disassemble anyone who is not on the registry as soon as they are encountered. So, anyone who hasn't made it to the Ice Cream Social by now had better start running. Side note, trying to outrun a swarm of nanites is a great cardio workout. If you are one of the residents sprinting towards City Hall right now, make sure you record this activity in your calorie log to ensure your rations are appropriately adjusted. Second, it appears that the census worker who collected Paul and I's data earlier today must have entered the data incorrectly, or possibly saved the files in the wrong location. Either way, neither Paul nor I are in the system, and judging from this telegram, the nanites will almost certainly arrive here at the station before another census worker does. I need to go try and resolve this situation as best I can, or at least start filing the appropriate paperwork for my untimely demise. At the very least, I do want to write up a letter for Kevin, so he knows what I've gotten done around the station in his absence. So while I take care of that, why don't you all listen to the climate report?
much I care. Oh, I can take it. Oh, you call me what you will. I don't mind. You're amazing, you. Yes, you. You're a wonderful surprise. You're not going anywhere. Alright, you'll see, I swear, never push you down. I only wanna build you up. We wanna build you up. We wanna build you up. Don't wanna get you down. We wanna build you up. We wanna build you up. We wanna build you up. Don't wanna get you down.
Welcome back. Gosh, am I glad to be able to say that, or really to be able to say anything at all. I'm sure you're all very curious about what happened during the break, so I'll give you the short version. The nanites did show up, a mass of glittering smiles shining in the sun, and they appeared to have every intention of disassembling both Paul and myself. As I stood there, my only regret was that I would not be able to complete my broadcast as planned, thus failing my town and disappointing Kevin when he does return and hears of this. However, before the nanites were able to gain access to the sound booth or the recording studio, the door to the sound booth slammed open on its own. Paul stood in the doorway holding in one hand a device covered in wires and buttons and a flashing red light, and in the other a large black box. I'm not sure where he got it, seeing as owning black objects was placed under heavy restrictions a couple years back. Note to self, need to talk to him about that later. At any rate, as I stood there, moments from, well, stuff, Paul activated the device in a shower of sparks and chirps, and the nanites swarmed around his hand. Into the box he threw that device, and the swarm of nanites followed right behind. It was only a matter of seconds until the box was securely closed and locked. And seeing as the nanites are solar powered, they stopped attempting to disassemble the box almost immediately. I'm going to wrap it up with some festive wrapping paper left over from last month's biannual Festival of Fights and label it definitely not a surprise gift. I'll just store it in the station bathroom for now, until we can find a better place to keep it. Oh, Desert Bluffs, I cannot even express to you how happy I am to be alive and breathing and speaking to all of you. Because I'm always happy to be alive, but I feel a special need to point it out right now. I am so glad you are all listening, from the radios in your homes and vehicles and on top of lampposts and hidden in shrubberies. Sometimes it takes a true near-death experience for someone to realize what value there is in life, and sunlight, and smiling. Of course, I was aware of the value of all of those things before this experience, but I think that Paul has really benefited from this whole situation. I think we all have, in a way. We've all come to realize how important it is to really participate in our community. Not just because of the threat of being deconstructed by a swarm of tiny machines, but because together, we are more than just a group of people. Just like one nanite is no threat at all, but a swarm of them most certainly is, we are stronger as a group. We are Desert Bluffs and we are rebuilding. And our smiles haven't wavered once. With that, I will leave you all with a closing thought for the night. It takes a village to raise a child, but when that child is grown, and that village is gone, where are you to turn? I'll talk to you soon, Desert Bluffs. Keep smiling. Welcome Back Desert Bluffs is a fan-made podcast based upon locations and characters from Welcome to Night Vale, which is the intellectual property of Commonplace Books. The voice of Terry is me, Ren Connolly. This episode's climate report was Build You Up by Love Story in Blood Red. Information about the climate report and other sounds used in this podcast can be found in the description below. If you like what you heard, or if you've got something you'd like to share with the class, send an email to welcomebackdesertbluffs@gmail.com.